All right, everybody, here we are with Stephanie. Stephanie, say hello to the Torah Life audience.
Hi, everybody.
Stephanie, why don't you share your testimony with us, how you discovered your Torah life?
Okay. Well, it all started when I was going to church in Texas, and it was one of those very large churches. And normally I keep my children with me wherever I go. I don't allow them to be separate from me. I think that's very important. And my husband and I feel very strong about that. So we were going to a church, and we would always stay in the cry room, and my husband would go into the sanctuary. Well, one day we were in the cry room. My son said to me, "Mommy, why does daddies get to go be with God and children and mommies don't? I mean, does God not like children?" So I thought, wow, that really impacted me to know that whenever you walked into a church that it was dividing the family, like moms go that way, children go that way, they have their own studies, and no one was actually learning all together something that they could apply to their lives. And I think that that's what the scriptures were for. To begin with, my dad was a Baptist minister, and I always grew up in church. I was always on the front pew of church my whole life. Well, it turned out that Sunday, a friend of ours saw us leaving pretty upset that day, and my husband said, "That's it, no more church." And I said, "What do you mean, no more church? I mean, we have to go somewhere and fellowship and worship and praise," and I was always part of church, so it really broke my heart. So we left, and some friends of ours, some very dear friends of ours, invited us to a fellowship that they were having. And they said, "Why don't you come to our house Saturday?" And I thought, wow, Saturday, okay, well, we'll come. So we went, and I remember going in and seeing all of the faces and all of the new people. And I remember hearing this man in the other room. I was with his wife at the time, and I was talking to her about like how many children she had and what she liked, and all of a sudden her husband started speaking in the other room, and he started talking about the Messiah like I had never heard before. And his name was Elias de la Fuente, and he started to speak about how Yeshua was the Messiah who came actually to not to do away with sin, or not to take away sin from us, that we are free from sin, but that he took away the penalty of sin. And he said how different that was, and he was doing a comparison of that. And I thought, wow, that really makes sense, that he actually came to do away with the penalty, which was death, and now he wanted us to understand Torah, to be able to walk in it in spirit and in truth and learn that. And I thought, wow, that makes perfect sense. I mean, why no one ever told me this before? I mean, that's just the whole message of the gospel. So then, as I was going over the verses in my mind that I had learned all of my life, I started to put these things together, and I thought, could this really be true? I mean, could this really be true, that we were supposed to be learning this all along, that this is actually the great falling away? So my heart was doing backflips inside. I couldn't wait to get home and just open the scriptures and find out for myself. So my husband and I did, and we went on a fast, and we asked the Lord if he would just prepare our hearts with all this new information, and he would really show himself to us, and is this really what it is about? So we did exactly that. We went home and we went on a fast, and we said, "Father, would you please show us? Please show us if we have been wrong, if we have actually been going against your word and saying that we're free from the law and that the law is a curse, instead of knowing that it's there to protect us, to set us apart." I mean, just like a good father would do. When like Greg, my husband, he's a very good father. He comes in and he says, "Now these are the rules of your home, children. You have to brush your teeth, and you have to be in bed by 8 o'clock, and you have to do certain things. And these are the house rules. And these rules are not there to control you. These rules are there to protect you and keep you safe. And because I love you, you're my children." And that's what the Father has done through his word. He's given us a Messiah that's taken away the penalty, which is death, which none of us could live up to because we would all be dead. So he took away that because our Father loves us so much to give us this Torah so we could learn it without that penalty in spirit and in truth. How wonderful is that? So now we have the ability to be grafted in to this beautiful family because the rules haven't changed. Our Father's rules have not changed, and they never will. He's the same forever. And so now we have the ability to learn them and to walk in this truth and to become part of His family, which is, who doesn't love an obedient child? So,
what was the reaction of your friends and your family when you told them you had a different viewpoint of the traditional viewpoint of the scriptures?
Well, it's been pretty rough in certain aspects of it along the way, especially coming out of traditions. I mean, traditions really are, they're really gods to people. I mean, they really are. I remember, having to say to some of my relatives that I'm sorry that we're not going to be celebrating Christmas anymore, that was really difficult for them to hear. And I can understand in a sense because it's really, who you are, what you do is really who you are. And that has really also changed my mind, about that, is that do I really want to line myself up with what the Word says and call myself a believer and actually believe it and actually do it? Or do I want to call myself something, a believer, and not really do what it says and do what everybody else is doing just to fit in? Where do I really want to fit in? I mean, it's the question that I really had to ask myself, and do I really want the love, the false sense of security from those around me that really just want me to be, fitting in? Or do I really want to be what the scripture tells me that I should? And if I'm a believer, do I really want to walk that? I mean, do I really want to say, I'm a believer and this is why? But a lot of times when you ask individuals, are you a believer? Oh yeah, I'm a believer. Well, what does that mean to you? Well, I'm not really sure. And they don't even know what it says. And I think that it's really foolish that that we, as people, say that we believe something, but we really don't even know what the Word says.
And what would your advice be to people that have just discovered this Torah lifestyle? What would you tell them?
I want to tell you, with all of your heart, walk in it. It is so absolutely freeing. I mean, most people think that freedom is being able to do what you want to do. But actually, discipline is not a negative word. It's actually a wonderful word, because freedom is actually being able to have those boundaries that have been set for you and be able to walk in those boundaries and to be free to be set apart. I mean, the freedom inside of it is what Yeshua, what Jesus came to teach us, to walk that path because He loved us, because He wanted us to be set apart. Oh my goodness, how wonderful it is to have these appointments, these biblical feasts that have been set up for us, Israel, His people, and to be able to walk in that. I mean, to know your Creator and to understand His heart is an absolute wonderful gift.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.